Okay, cool. So I've started the recording. My name's Syed Hashimi. I'm a PM on ASP.NET 5, more like the Visual Studio side of things. I've got Troy here. He's an engineer, and we also had Marat, who's the dev lead, but he just stepped out. Does everybody? I think everybody else, everybody knows each other, right? Dustin, I think you kind of already said who's on the call on your side.
Yeah, we've got Saris, Najma Body, Matt, and Matt Warren and myself. We're all just a bunch of dorky engineers.
Got it. Okay. All right. So let me go ahead and turn it over to David to kind of start driving it then.
So yeah, I guess it's just a follow-up to the last meeting we had. What I guess was about 5 weeks ago. Christmas kind of delayed the startup of the next one.
Yeah.
Um, so I got the agenda in front of me. I can't share it because Skype is being weird. If you want it, it's on the GitHub issues, so it's not like it's private or hidden anywhere. Um, Were there any other items that anyone want to add it, and that anyone wanted to add to that as well, or if they haven't reviewed it at all?
I think we got all the items that I was kind of interested in. Yeah, we got scaffolding here. Yep, it looks good to me.
All right, cool. So the first one that came to mind, I just added this on the other day because I was like, oh, do we want that? It was just top of my head. Is there any value in maybe having a mailing list that people could subscribe to and attach to with whatever emails they want to, just for tighter communication? I mean, sometimes it seems like the GitHub issues sort of fall out of sync.
Yeah, that's true. They do kind of fall off. Um, mailing list helps though, because it's kind of the same. I think those would kind of fall into the same bucket, right? Wouldn't it? Wouldn't they?
They might, but I was just wondering, it could be a way to have a more, I don't know, real-time conversation. But I guess we got Jabber and stuff for that. So it was just a random question off the top of my head.
Okay.
If there's not a lot of people calling for it, that's fine. I just was like, oh, I'll put that on the list.
Yeah, if there were people that were complaining and it felt like there was something broken, then yeah, I'm not sure there's anything broken right now. Feels pretty good.
Fair enough.
Communication feels pretty good right now.
The next item I had was Kestrel, but I actually kind of figured out the problem, or at least I figured a workaround for the problem. I don't know if we want to expand on that at all. But basically, the STIO server that Fowler had written for OmniSharp, it was recycling the response objects if you had enough requests in flight at the time. So I was seeing it in Atom. I didn't really see it in Visual Studio Code. I didn't do a whole lot of testing, granted. But it was basically, in one case, the request would lose its body object and have nothing written to it. And then the next request would have 2 JSON objects written to the body. And I was like, what is this nonsense? And I finally traced it down to the server implementation that we have that allows us to do transport over standard input output. I don't know if anyone wants to expand or can expand on that.
I don't know. Do you know anything
What I did to fix it?
Troy?
No, I'm not really like drill into this issue, but
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, the workaround I had to fix it was I just handed a new features collection with a new response and a new request object,
Right.
or a new response and new request feature to the create context call, and that seems to solve it. I don't know if that's going to then create memory problems further on down the pipe, but right now it seems to have solved the problem for the moment, anyway.
I see. Okay, yeah. So it looks like we don't have anybody that can talk to Kestrel details, but if you get blocked on anything, you can email me, and then I can put you in touch with the right people on that.
Yeah, I had Ben Adams, and I can't remember. I don't know his name. It's not whatever his name on GitHub. They had responded, so
I see.
Did get some help there as well.
Right.
So anyway, Holter 73. Who's that again? Steven. All right. Yeah, so I just wanted to talk about that. At first, I added that on because it was a blocker, but then I kind of got around it, and so it's not a big deal. Sounds like there's not a lot of the open source guys on today. I'm not sure if they're just busy or or not. But
Right.
then the next point was telemetry.
Right.
I'm not. As we had some discussion on that, there's an issue that we had talking about that. It sort of sounded like overall the idea of telemetry, or at least trying to gather some telemetry, is good, but we have to make sure that we're very transparent about it, and that we're very upfront with the users, asking them their permission and such to collect that information, so it becomes an opt-in as opposed to an opt-out.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, and for things like for the PII, I think we just kind of have to be careful that we don't send anything that might have any type of data like that. And then there are things that we can do, like kind of hashing values and stuff like that, to where we can preserve the uniqueness, but also ensure anonymity. So I think that would be good.
Yeah, if there's any kind of guidance there, that'd be good. I mean, I can do some research when I go to look at possibly implementing it. Or if someone else wants to come along and do that, please go ahead.
Yeah.
I just think there could be some value in there so we know that people are using the features that we're adding to the editors.
Yeah, exactly. And I think
and what are the major things that we should sort of focus on, and what are the things that are like off to the side that aren't being used a whole ton. I think that could add some value.
Yeah, exactly. And kind of as a kind of initial starting point on the.
All right, so that seems like we're pretty unanimous on that one. So then this is just follow up from the last meeting, the C# team's ambitions for OmniSharp. Dustin, I also sort of hand it over to you and see if there's anything there on your side where we're going.
Well, I don't know that there's anything new other than big giant ideas that we had. I don't think there's anything crystallized yet, except that I know Matt's been digging in, especially on the VS Code side. I mean, our first priority is to try and really tune up the VS Code experience. And I know Matt's been looking at things and finding all sorts of challenges and that OmniSharp's been having doing the right things inside of
you guys still hear me?
Inside of VS Code, like the entire document gets passed back and various things like that. And he's been looking at ways to you checked in changes to improve the buffers.
For example, I looked at the extension, and the extension, every time a character was typed, would just send the entire buffer. And obviously, OmniSharp wasn't written to only work that way, but the extension for VS Code is written. So I'm only guessing that they thought there were some bugs, and that was the way to squelch them. And so
yeah, I can explain you why we ended up doing this. Because it's the first thing I did in OmniSharp was adding this incremental buffer support, and that was like our main driving thing. Though there's problems in OmniSharp how some refactorings and renames are applied, such that changes are already applied onto the OmniSharp model, but also sent back to the editors, and then the editor will apply it again. And if you then send an increment, you will have like the change applied already on the state that has changed already. So basically, as soon as you do rename, things go bonkers. So that's why we turned this off basically in the end. And interestingly, I know this is the most stupid thing to do. No one ever complained about this thing is slow.
Well, I mean, people are doing. I think at least for the moment, it's been people have been using.
So I made some guesses. I didn't guess that one, and so I can think about that one. I think I know what to do to make that not happen. But I was thinking that knowing there's a actual problem in Roslyn source text, that you can't just keep applying changes to them. That it's not designed to work that way, and that would eventually cause a problem after quite a number of edits. You could just basically crash the process. So I fixed that in Roslyn so that whatever OmniSharp is doing right now to change source text is correct.
Right, that's good. Yeah. No, there's one thing where we do call these renamer things, and then we have this OmniSharp workspace, and I think we do not override all the correct methods. And this is where we have you folks, right? Because we always poking around and have no clues, right?
Right. So I mean, our kind of approach right now has been, like I said, it's been mostly from the VS Code side. That's the first and foremost thing. So trying to make changes to Roslyn, and we'll be making send some PRs to OmniSharp to make things better. So hopefully it will benefit all, but we're focused on VS Code.
I think every time you talk, Dustin, I just lose the conversation because my phone cut out there. That was pretty awesome. Anyway, I'm pretty good there. It was just like, oh god. There was no audio. I was like, oh cool. Go iPhone 6.
So.
All right. So next, go ahead, Dustin.
I was just going to say, David, was there a particular thing that you missed?
The beginning, whatever it was.
The whole thing?
Like last time, yeah.
Well, we talked about, basically we came up, we basically said we're focused on VS Code right now. We still have, ambitions in the future, and but they're not crystallized, and we're making changes to Roslyn to make OmniSharp better. We've done some already that they're kind of invisible. They'll just make OmniSharp work better, and we'll have some PRs to OmniSharp to make it work better with VS Code.
Cool. All right. So then the .NET CLI stuff. Troy, did you want to talk to any of that right now?
So I think we have the same progress as almost as last time. I upgrade our OmniSharp browsing to RC2. On that PR, we are still making some changes to it. I think as soon as that get in, we can go back to work on the OmniSharp browsing for the CLI. I haven't changed too much yet to that because I'm busy on our part. We have another project model server I'm working on. Once I have that wrap up, I have some idea go back to the browsing. OmniSharp browsing for the CLI. I have some change I want to do to improve the performance, but the prototype so far it should be working. So yeah, that's the progress we have right now.
What's blocking the PR right now?
You mean the RC2?
Yeah.
I think David have more detail because during the holiday, during the holiday, I fix all the test break on the CI. Everything go green.
Okay.
But I think we still have at that time the standard I/O server issue. That's the thing. Like I think I majorly block the PR for that for now. That's the RC2.
Yeah, so
that's the upgrade to RC2 PR.
Yeah, so that was the STDI one was the big one there, and then the whole running on RC2. Right now, the only other blocker is, and it's more for like the Emacs and Vim guys because they bootstrap through the command files that are in the scripts folder, and so if those don't work, then they break, and I'd rather not do that if we can avoid it. So right now, we need to update those, and there's like two ways to do it. Right now, on the Windows side, I have it just picking up whatever latest RC2 build you have.
Yep.
But by doing that, there's sometimes breaking changes that I've noticed come in and things start breaking. So I actually meant to add this as a question on there. Is there a specific version we can pin to that would be good? Sort of like, what's not really, well, whatever is a stable version, I guess is the word I'm looking for.
So because DNX is gradually fading away, at this point, any RC2 version of DNX shouldn't have any dramatic change because we make most of change in the CLI part. And I would say, like just I said in the PR, like let's try to, if we can ping back to, for anything relies on DNX, it's possible we ping to the RC1 final or RC1 update 1. But for all the new stuff, we begin to depend on the CLI repros. Because we will have all these abstractions like moving into a repro called platform abstractions. That thing should be stable. Have all the abstractions or the platform services over there, and DNX will gradually go away because eventually at some point there will be no DNX RC2 package.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll just pick a version to pin to because I had tried to run everything on RC1 and that kind of broke, so I didn't even go much further than that. So maybe I'll just pick a recent version
I think a
and
pick
we'll
a
just
recent
pin to
version.
that.
Yeah.
And
Pick
we'll
a
just
recent
pin to
version
that,
will
and
be
we'll
okay.
stay stable there until move to CLI. I mean, that way we have something we can say, install this, you must install this specific DNX for the moment.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that. There's one
Because right now
more
it's been
thing.
graduating, and we're on beta 8 now. So
Yeah. I think there's one more thing blocking on the CRI part is because the model change would so originally there's a library manager. If you're using DNX, using that library manager, you can looking for all the dependencies assembly in the package. Right now that part is missing in the CRI. So if you're looking to look at my CRI implementation, I hard coded what assembly to be loaded. We are working on that. We will have a solution for that thing to replace the old library manager. But that's
yeah, that's
blocking at
something
this
that you
point.
guys are working with Core FX, right?
Yeah.
Do we have any sort of idea, like general time frame when that's coming?
What specifically the library
The
manager?
library manager piece, right? I
I
remember
think
David
very
asking
soon.
about this.
Very soon, because we have some PR waiting on the CRI, because MVC and Razor depends on that. We
Right.
can't waiting spinning on that too long.
I understand. That's why I was like, how soon?
Like last week, I asked the engineer working on that. He wants to check in on last Friday, but there's something blocking. Then we kind of postpone. So I would say any day this week or maybe next week. I will push very hard to get this in.
Great. It sounds like so it sounds like it's imminent. That's great.
Yeah.
That's good. One question while we're talking about this: is there any cadence for us to support DNX and the .NET CLI side by side for a time being, or are we just going to sort of hard flip over and say this version is only .NET CLI?
On the Visual Studio side of the house, I can tell you what we're doing. In previous releases, we had already kind of set it up to where we can support side by side. So, for example, let's say if you had if you had Visual Studio with RC1 and then you opened a Beta 8 project, Visual Studio would download the DNVM for Beta 8 and then use that. And then we're pretty much just going to piggyback on that same set of features to enable us to open and run those older projects. But at some point, probably when RTM comes over, we'll probably turn off all the DNX stuff. So I think to answer the question goes back to how difficult would it be to have one version of OmniSharp that could support both DNX and .NET. If it's not a high cost, then I think it would be ideal to have that one version that could support both. But if it is a high cost, then what we can tell people is, if you're working on existing projects, you should stay with a particular version of OmniSharp. And if you're moving over to .NET, then you have to move over to this new version of OmniSharp. So I think it kind of goes back to a cost question.
Troy, do you have any kind of idea or input there on what it would take?
My general impression here is I would love to have only one version of two. So if we have only OmniSharp on the .NET, I don't think it will stop us stop user from opening an old project which depends on RC1 or even Beta 8 package, because that's about application itself, right? Even entire toolchain, the tooling is running on .NET. It shouldn't stop customer from open a project depends on old packages. If there is something blocking there, we should drill into that detailed problem to see if that's something blocking on the two sides. But so far, for example, if you compile OmniSharp with .NET and you have a RC1 project, it still should be able to open, and we should still able to get compilation information from that. Because we don't change the project, JSON schema. We don't dramatically change a lot of things. The version of the tool and the version of the application of the project shouldn't be that much related. I would say.
Okay, I mean that was just a question I had. So.
What?
Who was talking? Sorry, I was
this
talking over you.
Troy.
Hello?
Hi. No, yeah, I'm still here. No, I was just saying that was just a question I had. I mean, if we can still work with legacy projects, at least like Beta 8 RC1, then I think we'll be fine.
Yeah. I think I can give it a try. I don't see anything blocking us from doing that.
Okay, great. Did anyone have any other comments there? Dustin, Syed?
No.
No, I don't have anything. I was more
All
I was
right.
more interested in the various pieces that needed to come on to make the RC2 thing happen, and then .NET CLI ultimately happen.
Yeah, I'd like to
So
get
whether
the
whether
RC2
it's supported
out
side by
hopefully
side,
done this weekend.
whether they're supported side by side, I mean that's a point in time problem in reality, right? It's something. I mean, we can support it. You know, we can figure out if again, as I had said, if the cost is not high, it might make sense to support it side by side. Otherwise, it's a band-aid rip, right? Um, well, we'll see.
Totally makes sense. And I guess I'll dive into some of the editors. On the Atom side, I did a bunch of work on the weekend for removing React. There were just some performance problems I was having there and interop problems between Atom components and the React components. I was just basically said, screw this. So that's what I'm working on there. And on the Node client, I haven't really touched that very much. For VS Code, I heard we're going to get a repository at some point, but I haven't seen it materialize.
Yeah, I'm dragging.
What's going on there?
That's on me. I've been dragging my feet. I just need to move the project over. It's on me.
Was there any other updates you guys got for the VS Code integration?
I mean, nothing other than what I just shared earlier when you weren't listening on the phone. He lost audio. I mean, we're working on. I mean, our chief goal right now is, we've got, like I said, we have all these ambitions and all these things in the backs of our minds, but the chief goal right now is making the VS Code experience much better. So we're kind of focused on that. So we'll likely move this plugin over. While I've got you, Joe, what will I need to do when I do that to make sure that at least VS Code builds still continue working?
It should be all fine. If you move it over, it's all good. Our builds do not depend on the sources.
Okay. You just grab a release.
Yeah, we grab a release which you need to publish to the store, and
okay.
Today it's like I'm the publisher of the VS Code OmniSharp extension, and you guys should get like a team publishing account or something.
Okay.
And, then it's like our process will basically be like we craft a release once a month. We pick whatever VS Code OmniSharp version is good, usually latest I would say, and then we ship VS Code with it. But other people can update out of the band if you guys update, right?
Okay. I'll chat with you more on that if I need to, but it sounds like it's not a.
Yeah. As a little extra, we added some new API in VS Code, and that enabled me to do this view source from assembly feature. So there's a branch like in the VS Code OmniSharp repository that adds that.
Okay.
All right. We already talked a bunch about Roslyn. So I think I would like to try and target getting RC2 merged in, released, and out there at least for Adam to start looking at, or Emacs and Vim and VS Code by hopefully this weekend. I don't know if I'll have much time until Friday, Saturday, but hopefully I will.
Okay.
Because it sounds like we just need to pin that build, because everything else is working as far as I know. If anyone has Macs or Linux machines that they want to test on, hold on that branch, that'd be great. I mean, I'm the lone Windows guy on the cross-platform C# tooling, so. Did anyone want to talk about scaffolding or the generator project at all?
Sure, I can talk to it. So what's happening right now is, we're kind of going through this big shakeup of DNX to .NET, and scaffolding is impacted by that specifically because the commands project commands are going away, and that was our kind of entry point for scaffolding. So my team right now is working on creating like a standalone command line utility that can be used to replace that project command. And then after we and then that'll go out with RC2. And then after that, I think things will kind of stabilize on top of that. So I think what we should do for scaffolding is probably hold off until those big changes come through. So basically at the end of RC2, then we kind of update the scaffolding repo based on the latest sources. And then we start trying to do like a deep dive on the command line experience and start going at it from there. What do you guys think about that?
I mean, that makes sense. Is this scaffolding utility going to use like the .NET extension stuff where you go like .NET my custom compilers or whatever? Or is it going to be just a standalone executable?
No, it'll just be a standalone executable for now.
Okay.
Yep, and it'll be pretty similar to what we have today. Just it'll have a different way to like load up the project and to inspect it. But those would all be like implementation details of calling that tool, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think that's most of the updates for scaffolding, I think.
All right. The generator is still going along, keeping up.
Yep. Yeah, generator stuff. Yeah, I need to touch base with Pranav about getting the RC2 templates published over there for generator. But yeah, we should be going good on that, I would imagine too.
All right. What else do we got? Does anyone want to talk about the Sublime extension? I don't know if anyone's here that actually works on that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think it's kind of gone cold, I think.
Yeah, I know. Jonathan said that it's sort of up for grabs right now.
Yeah, right.
He's busy, so.
Yep.
I don't really fancy learning Python or extensions for Sublime, so.
See, I think that's where having the telemetry would really help us out too, because if we had telemetry that showed that Sublime was trending off and people were moving away from it, then I'd feel a lot better about it being abandoned. Versus if we had telemetry that said, hey, 90% of people are in Sublime, then it'd be kind of more problematic. But as we are kind of now, we're just kind of we don't have appropriate data to make the correct actions on those. But hopefully we can resolve that within the next 6 months or whatever.
Yeah. Can I say something real quick here?
Go ahead.
I am actually a Sublime user, and I am planning on at least trying to take a look at and see about nobody's really maintaining it right now, and there's some issues open, and I'm planning on in the next probably week or so starting to take a look at that, and I've done some stuff in Python and I've used it a bit, so I think I'm going to, at least if no one objects, try and work on that.
Okay. Is that John Rowley?
Yeah, it's me.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah, we can always open an issue on the Sublime page and start discussions from there, or we can always talk with Jonathan on Twitter, whichever one's better for you.
Okay.
Yeah, if you want to ping me, David Driscoll, I can always help with PRs or testing or something if you need that, if no one's able to. Just let me know. So, absolutely.
Perfect, man. Awesome.
Alrighty, thanks.
I forgot something about the .NET CLI stuff. Philip wanted me to share some stuff that he's been working on. So he sort of built off of Troy's branch, something for working with script.cs and the CSI stuff. So he's working through that process right now. He's got CSX working basically. The one thing he's trying right now is to sort of split script.cs apart from from CSI, so that we can support sort of the more Visual Studio simpler interactive system, and then also the script.cs one, which is sort of built on top of that. So there's nothing concrete yet from him, but he's working on something so that we can have that support come down the pipe pretty soon.
Got it. Okay.
And then Emacs. Is anyone here for Emacs?
Not that I know
don't know if
of.
Ian's joining us. I don't think so. I'll touch base with Ian on Twitter later. Did anyone have any other questions or anything we want to discuss? I don't know if there's any other big topics off the top of my head.
I think we covered everything that I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Did we cover you?
Anything over here? Anybody have anything? I think we're good.
Okay, great. If that's it, then I guess we can probably just call it early. Let people go, I don't know, do what you Microsoft people do. I guess it's what, lunchtime soon?
Yes, that's right. Lunchtime.
Yeah, go for lunch soon. I have to take my daughter to the doctor, so I'll do that a little bit earlier than I was planning. For the next meeting, how does early February sound? Sort of like the 3rd-ish? And are Wednesdays okay for people since we're all here talking? Wednesday's my preferred day just because I'm working from home anyway.
Totally
but if
fine
there's
with
another
me.
day, let me know.
Okay.
Hey.
It is finally building it. Started the PI submitting it. Okay. Hey guys.
Go ahead.
Who's on the call?
Okay, so I think we're wrapping up, I guess. I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording and sign off. Thanks, guys.
All right, thanks, guys. We'll talk to you next month.
Bye.
All right. See ya.